Hello, everyone. I hope y'all are having a glorious day, morning, evening, or night, whenever you're listening to this. I'm James.
I'm Leanna.
And you're listening to Perseverance to Prevail podcast. Almost stumbled on my words. And today, we're going to be doing kind of a more lighter episode, coming off of the Dark Days podcast. Episode, what was the episode?
Dark Days series, episode 1, Body Dysmorphia.
Body Dysmorphia, that's it. Couldn't even remember. Now, today, we're going to do another Q&A, because these are kind of fun to me.
Oh, boy.
These are going to be, relationship questions.
I'm going into this blind, y'all, so I apologize for whatever my answers are. I have not had time to process.
So I'm going to ask you a series of questions, and I'm going to answer these myself, and I have not proofread any of these questions. So it's going to be interesting. I think we'll get, oh boy, sorry, Seltzer.
James Taylor!
Sorry. I apologize.
Bless you.
At least I didn't fart yet. So, all right, question 1. What are some ways to know if a person is right for you?
Whoa! Starting with a doozy.
Oh, yeah. Oh, these are good questions. I got excited when
like deep questions.
Yeah. So what are some ways to know if a person's right for you?
That's a great question. I think some important things are like, how do they handle conflict? Are they good communicators? Or I should say, like, can you communicate well with each other? Not are they just, because you have to be a good communicator too.
Yes. If you hear that, I'm pouring myself some water.
Like, do you compliment each other well? Yeah, like, how do you guys handle conflict resolution? And I think, too, like, I think a lot of people have this idea in their mind that they have, like, this soulmate out there and it has to be this perfect person. But honestly, like, I feel like it comes down to the person that you choose. Like, you either choose to love them or you don't.
Do you believe in soulmates?
I believe that there are people that are meant to be in your life for a reason, but I don't know that I necessarily believe in soulmates.
So, you believe in the reason, season, or lifetime method?
Sure. Yeah, that's...
Have you ever heard that?
Yeah.
Somebody sent me that back in the day. And it's like somebody comes into your life for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. I believe that's very true. I believe that people come into your life either for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. And sometimes that person can be all three.
Yeah.
To know if somebody's right for you.
I have one more to add.
Go ahead.
Do they bring you peace? I think that's a big one.
That's true, too. Is this person your safe haven? Can this person be your safe haven? I guess, so to speak, because I guess this is like in case, how you know this person's right for you. So can this person be your peace? Mm-hmm. Can this person be your safe haven? Can you confide in this person? How does this person talk about others? Mm-hmm. If this person, I've said it once again, talks about everybody in their life, their mother, their brother, their aunts, their uncles, their sisters. Hell, I've even heard people talk bad about their kids.
Or their so-called best friends.
Yeah. And if you think that person is not going to talk about you like that, wrong. Hang on here. I got something for you. Shame. I think you should look and see if y'all have things in common, and then if there's things that you like that she doesn't like, or vice versa, is that person willing to join you to check out the things that you like?
Absolutely.
It's very important. Or if not, the person, I'm not going to say allows you, but is cool with you doing your thing while they do their own thing, and not making you feel bad for doing the things that you enjoy. So, question number, oh man, I should not drink seltzer before we do this. Because I am struggling.
Get it together, babe. I'm going to need you to do better.
And it's cold down here. How to break up with a person in a way that they still feel close to you. How do you break up with a person in a way that they still feel close to you? I don't think it's possible.
I was like, is it possible?
I don't see it. Me personally, anybody I've ever broken up with, that's it. Like,
well, okay. I don't like the way that question's worded. I think that it is entirely possible to go through a breakup and it be civil, and like, I've had some friends that broke up that genuinely really loved each other, but they just weren't right for each other. And it was it was heartbreaking for both of them. They were very kind and patient to each other through it. And I think that's really amicable and really rare. But I do think it's possible if both of the parties are mature about it and are upfront in their communication and honest with each other, and there wasn't some type of betrayal that happened. It depends on the circumstances surrounding the breakup.
Yeah, that's true. I think there's got to be a certain maturity level to it. I think the older you get, the more impossible it is. When you're teenagers and you break up with someone, it's kind of different. If they come into your life later on and you become friends and stuff like that, that's kind of a different situation. But I feel like the older you get, it's you don't have just guy friends. You don't have just girlfriends. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Guys don't have, or shouldn't have, women in their life other than their mother and their wife. I mean, honestly. You've got certain people, I'm close with certain someone, but I don't talk to them like that anymore. It's like a distant friendship, but it's not like you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not like my mom. You have your dad and your brother and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And you might have, one guy friend?
I have one. Yeah, he's been my friend for over 20 years.
That's the metalhead guy, right?
No. I think you're thinking of the guy I work with.
Yeah.
He's my buddy, but, we don't hang out outside of work.
You better not. I'll kill you.
No, my friend Josh, that has been my best friend for over 20 years. We've been through some really hard shit together, and that's the only guy friend really that I hang out with, or not that I hang out with, but that I'm close with.
Right. Yeah. Because you don't really, when you're in a relationship, you just don't really hang out with other people like that.
Right.
I
also heard, you just reminded me of something I heard on a podcast that was saying, if, say you have a friend of the opposite gender, if they know more about your marriage or your relationship than your partner knows about them, that's a problem.
It is a problem. That means that there's a communication issue.
And I just feel what happens in the home needs, it belongs in our home. It belongs between us. Especially, I would never go to a guy for advice about something in our relationship. I might go to one of my close girlfriends just to be am I being irrational, or for some wisdom on say I need to communicate with you about something, but I don't know how to do it. Mm-hmm. But I would never go to a man about that, because why would I? They have no place in our relationship and what goes on behind the scenes.
Yeah, the only man you should be talking to about our situation is me.
Right.
Or your father. If you went She took a big bite of banana. No, if you went and talked to your brother or your father, that's understandable. But when you start talking to another man, you're starting to confide in another man, and that leads down to a rabbit hole of a shit show.
Right, and same thing, of course, for men.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I would never talk to another woman about any problems we have.
Right. And I think there's, like, something that I've thought about this for, like, ever is, say I went to one of my friends and was telling them, like, just hypothetical, say you and I got in a fight, and I went to my friend and, like, told her what happened. If I had not been telling her about all of the great, amazing things about our relationship, and that was the only thing that she knew, then there would be, like, a negativity bias. She'd
have a preconceived notion forever.
Right. So I don't ever want someone to think less of you. It's almost like protecting you as well by, like, not going to other people about our relationship.
Agreed. I've never said anything negative about you to my friends.
You sweet man. I love you.
Love you too. I mean, I haven't and I wouldn't, because if I do ask them for advice, they're going to have more of a middle ground, like, unbiased opinion.
Right.
Like, they're not going to have this, like, well, you know, she's already been fucking with my boy, and this is just, you know, I'm going to just tell him to go ahead and tell this bitch to kick rocks. You know what I mean?
Right.
I mean, and be vice versa. If you've only said negative things about me to your friends,
right,
and then, you know, we have this bad fight, they're going to be like, well, remember this time, and remember this bad time, and remember that bad time, versus, like, if you tell them the good things, you know, and really don't talk about the negative things, they'll be like, well, you've never said anything negative about him or her, so this seems kind of out of character for them, and, you know, in this relationship. So maybe he needs to fix something, or maybe you need to fix something. Like, there'd be more, like, down the middle versus having your side, which, I mean, your friends are going to have your side regardless. I mean, it's just how life is. Next question. Hang on, my phone keeps locking on me. Do. I'm sorry. I apologize.
Is it still recording?
Yeah, it's still recording. Okay, next question. Let's see. How do you find love when you're too involved in your work?
Well, I mean, define too involved.
I'm guessing the question is, like, so I guess if you're very, like, balls deep in your work.
There's got to be a work-life balance. Like, I understand that people are having to work crazy overtime to make ends meet, and I know that some people, like, bring their work home with them, but you've got to be able to live your life too, because if work consumes you, like, that's just going to lead you down a bad path, a very lonely path. So I think just, like, setting aside a certain amount of time to pursue not just relationships, but friendships, like relationships of all sorts. Like, you need to have, you know, a social life.
Oh, yeah. You can't be so involved in your work that you lose yourself.
Right.
Because you'll wake up one day very sad and lonely, pretty much just like the question's asking.
Exactly.
You just have to learn to take time and separate yourself from your job. I mean, it's as simple as that. Like, you've got to separate. Like, I understand, like, people that like to grind and make something of themselves, but you also got to make your life complete. Because work, you're going to wake up one day and you're not going to be able to do that job. And then when that day comes, are you going to be alone because you neglected to find someone or make time for someone else?
Yep.
So,
That's exactly right.
Well, let's see. How do you know if you found your soulmate?
Well, we just talked about.
Or how do you know if you found that person?
Found your person.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a hard one for me to explain, or a hard one for me to answer, I think, because, when I knew the night that we met that you were special and you were different. I just knew. It was like something in my body was just like, this is your man. I'm not saying that I knew we were going to be together forever or anything like that, but I just knew you were different. I knew that you were something that my soul was saying yes to. I think there is a feeling, a sense of peace, a sense of I felt like I had known you and we had just met for the first time, you know?
Mm-hmm.
You just smiled at me, made me nervous.
No.
But I think, kind of like the question we just answered a few minutes ago, it's a lot of you have fun together. There's a lot of laughter, and when times are hard, you choose to work through it and not run away. And I think I don't think that your beliefs have to be 100% the same, but there's probably should be some similarities, because if not, that's going to cause conflict.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have similar hobbies and things that you can go and enjoy together? All of those things are important. Your morals and your values, your goals for the future. There's a lot that I think that plays into that.
I can make it a little bit more dumbed down simple for me. Does this person bring you peace, and is this person your peace?
Yeah.
And you're my peace.
You're my peace too, baby.
And if you have that, you've got something that's very special. Because in this world of chaos, everybody is just searching for that peaceful, quiet place. And I know that I have that with you.
You're making me cry.
So, I think that's how you know you found your person, is when you find your person when you find that peace. So, and I found that peace.
I love you, baby.
I love you too.
You guys made me ink.
Okay, here's a little bit less mushy question, but yet a good one. I like this question.
I like the mushy questions. I like when you tell me how much you love me.
How do you handle difficult conversation? How do you handle difficult conversations with your significant other?
I always answer first. You go first this time.
Okay, so in handling
I'm still wiping tears.
The difficult conversations, you have to first acknowledge the problem with that person, but also be reasonable and open-minded in the conversation. And you have to have a fucking conversation with that person and not just be mad. Now, if you have an anger problem or you're upset about the situation and you tell your significant other, give me a moment, I need to step away, clear my head, give me 5 minutes because I want to come into this not so blinded. And then if you're with someone that loves and respects you enough and knows who you are, they'll give you your time. And then when you come back, you present your side of the situation, their side of the situation, and then the problem to the situation.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's pretty much how we do it if there's a problem.
Yeah.
We acknowledge the problem, we tell our sides of the problem, and then we find the solution to the problem.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely think like for you and I think we've come a long way in our conflict resolution. I think one of the important things people need to remember when they're in a partnership is like when you're having a disagreement, you have to look at it as like it's y'all against the problem, not y'all against each other. Because 9 times out of 10, it's not, you pinned against me. It's us pinned, like we are a team and we're going to figure out this problem together.
Right.
Which can be hard when emotions are high and feelings are ramped up and people feel misunderstood or misheard or unseen. But I think too, say we were in an argument and you were upset with me about something. Like, I think as my role in that is like I should make sure that your feelings feel validated, even if I don't necessarily like agree.
Yeah.
Because even if like I had done something to hurt you and it was completely unintentional, it still hurt you. I can't take that, like I can't make that not, I can't say like, oh, you're not hurt because that wasn't my intention.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So I think like validating that, but then also, I mean, like, I could see like in that situation, I would validate it and say like, I'm so sorry, like that wasn't my intention, but I totally see why it made you feel that way. And I think it's really important too that like you feel safe going to your partner when there are problems and not worried about like their reaction and them, blowing up, which is something that I struggle with, I think, more so than you. I worry about like miscommunicating what I'm feeling and it being construed a different way, and then like hurt, like what I'm trying to say hurts you more than like what I'm meaning. Like I can't even say it right now. Just thinking about it gets me all flustered. So like say I was upset about something and I wanted to talk to you about it, but it wasn't you that was the problem. It was just like a situation that like just made me upset or hurt my feelings or whatever. Mm-hmm. So I get in my head with my anxiety of like, well, if I bring this up, like I might not communicate it well and he may think that he's the problem, and I don't want him to feel like he's the problem. So I just won't bring it up because I don't want to like cause it. I don't want to have this conflict. Like, and then it's like easy for me. Now I will say like this is previously Anna. I'm much better about that now. Still working on it, but that's definitely how I used to be. Is I would just not even communicate any of my thoughts or emotions because of fear of the unknown of how someone would react. Not saying you, just saying in general, like even with like friendships.
Right. No, I agree with that. 100%. All right, these are some good questions. I'm liking these. The question is, what are 3 top qualities of a healthy relationship? But I would say, what are top qualities in a healthy relationship?
Top qualities in a healthy relationship? I think one of the signs of healthy relationship is that they laugh. Laughter, yeah. Like, you make me laugh all the time.
Yeah, I think laughter. I think communication.
Of course. Yeah.
Let's see, laughter, communication.
Respect, like mutual respect of each
understanding.
other. Mm-hmm.
Anything else?
Trust.
I mean, you're pretty much... Damn, I had the word in my head and it just left me. It's almost like understanding. Man, I went blank.
I don't know.
Damn. Okay. Well, went blank on that one. Might circle back around to that one.
Okay.
All right. What mistakes should be avoided in a relationship?
What mistakes should be avoided?
Yes. I have not a theory, but I guess I feel like you're going to have mistakes in a relationship. And it's okay to have mistakes in a relationship because that's how you learn.
Yeah.
That's how you learn in everything. Sports, life, fixing things, is you learn from mistakes. Now, mistakes that I think it might be talking about is maybe continue talking to guys or posting pictures of yourself in a provocative way, or I mean, obviously cheating. That's obviously
Cheating to me is not a mistake; it's a choice.
Right, exactly. I agree with that statement. I don't know what mistakes you could avoid in a relationship. Not communicating with your person, not telling them when you're having a bad day. That's I guess mistakes that you'd be making, and that all revolves around communicating.
Right.
I think the biggest mistake is communication, the lack of communication, because I've had relationships go bad because of no communication. But I think that's the biggest one. What does intimacy mean to you? You don't have to go into details because I don't need to know, but what does it mean to you, or what should it mean to someone?
Intimacy to me are these little special moments that you get between partners that nobody else gets to have that side of you.
Nobody should.
Nobody gets to.
Exactly. Nobody should, except for you and that person.
Right. And I think one of the first things people think of when they think of intimacy is sex, and obviously that is a form of intimacy, but it's so much more than that. It's we were putzing around town earlier, and I just had a moment. I've had a pretty tough mental health day because I really made me struggle, and I was just having a moment. We were at the store, and I just looked at you and was like, "Can you just hug me?" And you were like, "Yep." And you just sat there and hugged me until I let go. And that's intimacy.
Right.
It's making sure I don't leave the room without giving you a kiss first.
Right.
It's yeah. You said I don't have to go into detail, but I want to go into detail and just talk about all the little things, when I'm cooking and you come up behind me, wrap your arms around me, and when you when you touch my face. Grab my face and kiss my forehead and kiss my nose. It's just all these sweet little intimate moments that are just between our souls, and nobody else gets that part of us except each other.
Right. What is intimacy? I almost had a love guru moment. Have you ever seen that with Mike Myers?
Mm-mm.
Oh no, we're watching that. Anyway, he says, "Into me I see." And that's how I always see that word now.
Beautiful.
It means a lot, honestly. Intimacy is the key to keeping your person.
Yeah.
Honestly, if you don't have intimacy, you don't have a relationship.
I agree.
If you don't communicate and you don't have intimacy, you don't have trust. Those are the three things you need in a relationship. There goes a burp again.
Yeah, without intimacy, your relationship dies.
I mean, that's what it means to me. It means everything. Because if you don't feel loved, you're going to go find someone that will make you feel loved.
Mm-hmm.
And that should never be the solution to the problem.
Yeah.
It is something that is easily fixable. Okay. What does healing mean to you?
That is a good question. So I've been through some traumatic-ish in my life, as most people have.
Join the club.
Right. So I feel like healing, it doesn't mean that, it's kind of like, to me, I think of healing and forgiveness very similarly. Like, you can grieve and process through something. How do I explain this? So say you've lost a loved one. And obviously, like, we've all lost people that we love and know how difficult and hard that is. And the grieving process is super difficult and can be really long. I feel like you can heal to a certain extent where, like, you can talk about that person and smile. I think that's a really good sign of healing. But, I mean, you could have a day where you talk about them and smile, and the very next day you break down thinking about them, just missing them and missing their presence in your life. And
yeah.
I don't know. I think healing is like a continuous journey. And it's not linear, and it's not just this straight line going up. It's like I saw this example of grief where it was like a square and it had a really big circle in the inside. And when grief is new and fresh, that ball on the inside is really, really big and it's touching all the corners. And over time, that ball starts to shrink and starts to bounce around. And at first, when it shrinks just a little bit, it's hitting those walls very frequently. And then as time goes on and it gets smaller, there's a little bit more time in between hitting those walls. And I think grief is very similar. I know we're not talking about just grief with healing, but I think it's just kind of a really prevalent example that most people can relate to. But you may go a long time before something happens and triggers that, emotion. But I don't think that will necessarily ever like fully go away. I think healing's something that is going to be a part of reality forever. Like, you're always going to be on a healing journey.
Yeah, you pretty much took the words right out of my mouth. Healing is coming to terms that it's never going to go away. Mm-hmm. You learn to live with it, unfortunately. It's not like it just disappears. And the ball example that you just gave is a perfect reminder, because some days I've even had it, I'll think about a bad breakup or like my grandpa passing away. Like, it just hits me just out of the blue, and it can break your heart just like the day it happened. It can make you sad and it can make you upset. But in time, your days get easier, because you are either healing or you have learned from the spots you've healed. Mm-hmm. So when those moments do come, you're in a better place. You're in a better head spot or headspace. That you can handle this situation better now that time has passed. So healing is very important, but it's also knowing how to heal. Mm-hmm. Like, acceptance is the biggest part of healing to me.
Yeah.
Not trying to go too dark with it, but Let's see. Next question.
I'm having this like squirrel moment. Your cord from your headphones perfectly matches your shirt, and it's very satisfying to me right now.
Oh my god. Okay, here's a less deep question. When do you know it's time for a break from a toxic relationship? I'll answer this one first. If it's a toxic relationship, it's no fucking break. It's a break up you need.
What's the context of toxic? Like, because I think people are really quick. I feel like that's one of those buzzwords where people are really quick to call something toxic.
I can think of a toxic relationship or two different people in our lives.
Shush. We don't need to air other people's dirty laundry.
I'm not, but they're toxic.
They're toxic to each other. For sure.
I'm bringing up the comparison for you of what I'm thinking is toxic, and those two relationships are toxic.
Yeah.
There's no break in that situation because it's so toxic. It's time to move on.
Right. Yeah. What was the question? When do you know it's time? When do you know it's time to?
When do you know it's time to take a break in a toxic relationship?
Well, okay. So I'll play devil's advocate a little bit, and
I'll be the devil.
Not in those specific relationships that people don't know what we're talking about, and it's not our story to tell. But, say a relationship has just gone down a bad path, and sometimes taking a break, can like give you time to put things in perspective and like realize the things that you need to work on personally, and your like own your part of the ish that happened in the relationship. If it's mostly like the other person, then like you have to decide for yourself, like, am I willing to try to work this out and try to be patient through the process? Is this relationship worth fighting for, or is it not? I think sometimes you have to take a break to get your mind right around it. As I've been there. Like, I felt like I needed to end a relationship, and I had to get away to get clarity on what really needed to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And it did end up in a sever.
Okay. I'm gonna go back to a couple things we said. In a toxic relationship, this person is not bringing you peace.
Well, the thing you have to remember, though, like relationships, like as much as we want them to be perfect all the time, like you're gonna go through things. There's gonna be times where it's not as peaceful, and if that's your person, and it's not a constant state of like fight or flight all the time, and this is just something has came up that you guys are not seeing eye to eye on, then that I feel like people are really quick to just give up, wipe their hands and walk away because this isn't bringing me peace. But the majority of the relationship it's just a moment that you need to work through and communicate through. And people are so quick to just walk away.
Okay. It's different when you have a moment. I'm not saying when you have a moment, like, or a slight problem in a relationship, to not work on it and communicate it. That, hey, we have a problem and we need to fix it.
Mm-hmm.
But when that problem happens over and over and over again,
and it's like consistent,
then we're talking about toxicity.
Yeah.
Now, if this person is bringing you nothing but grief or negativity, or is not there for you, and it's one-sided, that is toxic. That's what I'm talking about.
Gotcha.
That is toxic.
Yes.
Now, if you are in a good relationship, in a healthy relationship, and then you throw your hands up at the first signs of a problem, I'm cold. That's, if you're looking at me, that's
no, I thought I heard like your phone stopped recording.
No, it's still recording.
Okay.
if you throw your hands up and you're like, I'm out, then there is a more serious problem there. And you need to figure out why you're throwing your hands up so quick. You probably have past relationships that were very bad. So you're like, at the first signs, you're like, fuck this, I'm out. I'm not doing this again. But you should stop and think and know that you're not with the same person.
Right.
And to work through that. Now, getting back on the toxic hit, because I'm liking where this is going. See, I knew these questions were good. Oh, the next question's really good. And I can't wait for you to answer this next one. But the toxicity is if this person is not your peace, they're your problem. That is going on a shirt. I'll say that again. If this person is not your peace, then they're your problem, and you don't need that in your life.
Life is too... It makes me sad to think about relationships where it's like truly toxic and truly just so negative. Like, life is too short for that.
Yes.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
No. Are you ready for this next question?
I reckon so.
Oh, and you better answer this one too. Is the relationship worth continuing if the partner does not change his or her mind about making any changes? That was a mic drop. Look,
sorry.
Just so you know that I'm not making that question up.
I'm trying to find it. Hold on. Oh, wait, I got it. Is the relationship worth continuing if the partner does not change his mind about making any changes?
I put hers in there.
His or her mind. Hold on, I got it. Let me read it again. Is the relationship worth continuing if the partner does not change his or her mind about making any changes? So let me make sure that I'm understanding this. So there has been a conflict. Someone has set a boundary and said, this needs to change. And the person's like, well, this is just who I am. I'm not changing.
Yes.
Okay. That's what we're talking about.
That is exactly what we're talking about.
Honestly, like, I want to make sure, hold on. I know what my gut instinct is. Like, my gut reaction.
Do you want me to start this off?
No.
Okay.
Because I don't want you to say to sway my, which is funny because I feel like if it's different, you're probably gonna have a really solid point. I'm like, oh yeah, you're right. Honestly, no, because in a relationship, you and I have both said how important like compromise is.
Yes.
And if your partner comes to you and says like, hey, like this is causing me pain, this is hurting me, can you please do X, Y, and Z? Or can we work on changing this? And you are just like, that's just who I am. That's like, why is it a big deal? And you just completely invalidate how they feel. Even if you find it irrational, it doesn't matter. Like I just said, you're causing your partner pain. If you love them, why would you want to hurt them? It's as simple as that to me. Like, if you claim to love that person, then you should want the best for them. You should want to bring them peace and bring them joy and not do anything that causes them harm. And if you are doing something that you know is hurting them and you refuse to change it, then you don't love them. Mic drop.
Yes, 100%. Not really. I mean, that's exactly how I feel.
Okay, cool.
Is it worth continuing? No. Because the definition to insanity is repeating yourself over and over again, expecting a different result.
Right. Can I interrupt for a second?
Yeah, go ahead.
Because this is something else that I've been like listening to and like learning, or not learning, but just processing recently. I totally agree with you. a different perspective is, okay, say, let's change the question a little bit and say, the partner has said that they will change. They are putting in effort to change. You can see it, but then they have a little mess up and you confront them again. Like, I think if it's something that's like a character trait of theirs, like something that is like formed way back in childhood, it's like a trauma response almost. Like, for instance, yelling during an argument. Yelling at your partner is never okay. But if it's something that has stemmed from their childhood, you have brought it to their attention, they recognize it, they apologize, and they are putting in like a clear effort into doing better. And then like 3 months from now, they start to raise their voice, and you're like, hey, we don't talk to each other this way. I love you. Can we just bring it down a notch? To me, that's not them choosing. That's like not what this question is about, that example, because in that aspect they are trying to make a change. It's when they're unwilling. Yeah, it's totally different. I just wanted to make that like distinction.
No, that's a very good and valid point. If the person has taken and your wants and your needs and applying it to their life and trying to make changes and show an effort, then that's when you should still
stay and try.
Yeah, stay and try, because they do love you enough to put in the effort, because you do mean that much to them.
Right.
Now, on the flip side, if this person is just doing the same thing over and over again, they don't love you. They don't respect you.
That's literally what I was about to say.
You're just another person to them. You're their safety net. They can fall back on you because they know you're not going anywhere. You're nothing but a heavy bag to them. You stay in one place, and no matter how many hits or things they throw at you, you stay right there. And the best thing for you to do is move on. Get your shit together and move on. Take your family's interest and put it first. Put your love, wants, and needs first. Because they should put you first on their list and vice versa. They should put your love, wants, and needs should be on their list. Your love, wants, and needs should be vice versa. Should be on both of each other's list. And if you have kids involved, your kids should be your number one priority. Because you are the one person in life that they love and trust and need. Fuck everybody else. You can't bring hurt and sorrow in their life, especially if it's a bad marriage or you came from a bad marriage. You should promise that kid or kids or your children that they're never going to have to see that again. And it is your duty as a parent to bring nothing but happiness and joy into those kids' lives for as long as possible until they have to face this harsh, cruel world. And if nobody or this person that says they love you doesn't put you first or doesn't show you love, fuck them. I guarantee you, my last bottom dollar, there is someone out there that is willing to love you. And I know because I found that person. I've been in so many fucked up relationships, and especially my last relationship that really broke me, and I swore that I would never be in a relationship again. And now I'm here with you, and it's living proof that you're someone is out there. And I know if I had kids, that it would still be a loving home, that you would be a great stepmom, and that you would treat my kids as if they were your own, or vice versa.
Yeah.
We're just lucky that we don't have kids, and we just got a bunch of fur babies.
All the fur babies.
Too many fucking fur babies.
Man, you really made me like sob tonight.
that was...
like I just want
You okay? You need a minute?
No, I'm okay. I just was that person that was in a relationship where I had asked for change, and I asked for change and asked for change and asked for change, and I was always promised, I'll do better. I'll make these changes, and then it would never come. And like hearing you talk about like they don't love you, they don't respect you. Like if they like literally hearing my own words of like if you're choosing not to change when you know that you're causing them pain, then you don't love them. And I've just lived that for so long. Like it really hurts my heart when I see my friends going through it, and I know what it feels like, and I know how much they want it to work. But like it's just like you just have to like understand, like if they're not willing to change, there's nothing you can't change them. They have to be willing to make that change for themselves. And if they're not, then they're not your person. No. And that's so hard to accept sometimes, but it's like you said, there is someone out there that's willing and ready to love you for exactly who you are. You won't have to beg to change, and to treat you well, and to treat you with respect, and like just love you well. Right. They're out there.
There are.
And we are living proof of that, and I love you.
I love you too. All right, rolling on with these awesome hard-hitting questions. Tell me one way in which others may sabotage their own relationships by not knowing themselves well enough.
Can you repeat that?
I think the question kind of answers the question, honestly, if you listen to it. Tell me one way in which others may sabotage their own relationships by not knowing themselves well enough. I think if you've been in a lot of bad relationships, you might find yourself in a good relationship and think that you're not worthy enough, and then do something to try to sabotage it.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're not you've been unloved for so long that you don't think you're deserving of it. Yeah. And you have this great person in your life, and you don't feel like this person is either real or true, or is possibly jerking you around, or you just feel like this person is too good for you. Like, this person deserves better. You've been through so much shit that that's all you deserve is shit. So you'll find a way to stick your foot in your mouth.
Yeah. So
this person you feel can go and find their true person, even though that person is you.
Mm-hmm.
That's just my 2 cents.
Yeah. I think too, like, a lot of time. Ooh, I just hit my tongue. That hurt.
Ouch.
both men and women, I think, fall into this category. But say you're someone who, like, really, really needs validation, and you post, like, all of these selfies and thirst traps or whatever because you like the response that you get on the internet, not realizing, like, that validation that you're seeking should be coming from your partner.
Right.
And a lot of times I think people don't even realize that that's why they're doing it.
Yeah. You okay?
Yep.
Is that it?
That's it.
Okay. Is it okay to be in a long-distance relationship?
Well, I couldn't handle it. I just up and moved closer.
I don't know. I didn't think we were in a long-distance relationship. I'm sorry, but if you're like an hour away from me,
I was almost 2 hours away from you. Thank you very much.
whatever. Anyway, hour and a half. That to me is, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe like because like my ex-wife back in the day, like I used to drive to Lynchburg every fucking weekend. Like the hour drive doesn't really bother. Like it doesn't bother me anymore.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still working where I used to live, an hour and a half away.
Right.
And it really, like, it just becomes part of the routine. And it's funny because people that that I work with are like, you drive that far to work here? I'm like, yes, I do, because there's nothing here for me.
Yeah, unfortunately. Right now it's nothing, but it's coming.
Yeah, it is. But that's besides the point. I think it would be very, very difficult to do a legitimately long-distance relationship. It would take a lot of patience and a lot of trust and a lot of communication.
Yeah.
Like, even more so than if you were living in the same house. Like, I think that human nature, like people just get too lonely, honestly, for that. Like, it just opens the risk of bad decisions being made very easily. And
Right.
I don't know. I think long distance would be very difficult. It's not for me.
There's a guy that's where I work. He's actually leaving this Thursday. Anyway, it's his last day. But apparently, him and his baby mama broke up. I didn't know. And he's been dating this fucking girl in Texas. He lives in Danville.
How?
I don't know.
Like,
he's not a looker neither.
maybe he's being catfished.
No, he's taking her back. Like, she's here right now.
Oh.
Yeah, no.
Okay, she's real.
She's
Good for him.
real. I don't know if she's real ugly, but she's real.
Hey, everyone needs someone.
Yeah, fat people need loving too. Is it okay to be in a relationship with someone who has a different religion or belief system than you? Is it okay? Yes. Is it going to work? Probably not.
Yeah, I mean, religion is one of those things, like, that's so much a part of people's identity that when you're with someone who believes something totally opposite of you, it's just difficult. Like,
that is a good point. The religion is people's identity.
Yeah.
That is like an epiphany moment for me. Like, we talk, like, when we're talking, like, me, you, and Todd, like, we have pretty good conversations, and we was talking about this the other day, actually, with the identity thing, and people making stupid things their identity. I'm sorry, people, if you're listening to this, I'm not religious in any aspect. I think it's all a bunch of mumbo-jumbo, bunch of hogwash bullshit. If you hate me for it, I'm sorry. Anyway, but people use this as like their identity. Like, you know, I'm gay. But that's their identity.
Mm-hmm.
The religion thing is their identity, and these are things that shouldn't be identities.
It can be a part of who you are, absolutely.
Yes, it should be a part of who you are, but not your identity.
Right.
And I think that's like these conservative people, like they're so conservative that it's their fucking identity.
Yeah.
It's not okay. You're not Jim anymore. You're a fucking conservative. Or liberal. That goes both ways. Don't get me misconstrued that I'm liberal, because you retards are just retarded as the other retards.
Yeah. I was just thinking about identity, and like I know that's something that we're going to be talking about in a podcast in the future. I just want to say, like, I want to be known for how I treat people and how I make people feel about themselves.
Right.
More so than like, oh, well, I know she supported this president and not this one, or like she believed in this and not this. Like, I want to be known for how I treat people and how I make people feel.
Right. Like, I feel like my friends don't have a certain identity. I mean, let me rephrase that. I feel like my friends don't have
a surface level identity.
Yeah, like, like Todd is a conservative.
Right.
He's not a conservative. He's Todd. He likes everything. Mm-hmm. Pro wrestling, metal music, horror movies.
Yeah.
Just like Brandon, Casey, Terry.
Yeah.
They're all Brandon, Casey, Terry, Todd. They're not like, oh, I better not talk about gun control in front of Brandon, or I better not, talk about transgenders in front of Casey, or...
That's one of the things that I love about your friendships, is that there are things that you guys don't see eye to eye on, and y'all can have very open talks, debates, whatever about it, and they're like heated debates sometimes, and it cracks me up because y'all could almost sound like you're really arguing, but you're not, and then 2 seconds after that conversation's done, y'all are laughing about some dumb shit.
Right, it's how the world should be.
And you just love each other, even though you're like, you can be opposites in some ways. I mean, y'all are really similar in a lot of ways too.
Because we are the people that believe that you can have different opinions and still be friends.
Yeah, and I love that. I love that about y'all.
And that's how the fucking world should be.
Yeah.
Like, you can have different beliefs, different opinions, and still be friends.
Oh, what's interesting? Well, aren't we talking about... Wasn't the question, like, can you be different? Can you have different religions?
Yeah, religions or belief systems.
So that's really funny that we're talking about that now, because in relationships, I think it would be very hard. Because I mean, think about, like, when you have kids, your standard of how you want to raise your children could be very different, and that could cause a lot of conflict. I think in friendships, absolutely. In partnerships and relationships, very difficult.
Right. You kind of have to be on the same page. I mean, can you? Yeah, but it's just like you said, if one is from a Jewish background and then one is from...
Like Catholic.
Or
Muslim.
Or Muslim. First of all, your parents are not going to see eye to eye with the other people's parents.
Yeah.
And there's going to be a whole lot of conflict in that family.
Yeah.
Especially during the holiday times.
Ooh.
Is it okay to have a relation? Words are words. Is it okay to have a relationship with someone who is significantly older than you or younger? Well, the younger... Okay, that's like such a gray area. Is it okay? It gets weird at a certain point.
Yeah, like how
and
old
unfortunately,
is the young person?
If you're an older man and you date a younger woman, it's looked at as creepy. It's double standards here. If you're a younger man after a older woman, it's not considered creepy. It's considered.
I still find it kind of creepy.
I think it's disgusting, but the world's point of view is that Go get him, champ. You're getting that old cougar tang.
God.
Now, is it okay? Yeah, I mean, as long as they're, of age. Is it weird? Yeah. Now, if you're like, I don't know, maybe late 30s and then they're kind of like early 50, late 40s, I don't think there's really too big of a problem there.
Because
but the problem to me comes in life experiences.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say is like, I kind of whispered earlier, like how old is the young person in that relationship? Because there's a lot of like life experience that happens, especially like in your 20s, and so much like development and like self-identity and awareness that like is built through that. And there are, we just talked about this earlier, there are like 23-year-olds that are still fucking children, and there are 23-year-olds who have been through some serious shit and like carry themselves in a much more mature fashion because they have their life experience is much different than a typical like 20 whatever year old.
Exactly.
So I mean, I okay, I will share a little bit of like one of my family stories when it comes to this. I have a family member who is married to someone younger than me. They are much older than me. And like when that relationship first came about, like it was strange, but I will say like it is the healthiest relationship I've ever seen him in. And the like growth and just like kindness that I've seen since he's been married to her is incredible, to the point where like it really makes me look at those type of relationships much differently, where I feel like now, like, who am I to judge? Because like they are so like amazing together, like, and I'm so happy for him that like I don't care that their age difference is what it is. He is an incredible dad to their babies. Like, they have a great marriage. They make each other happy. And there's like, I don't know, like I don't even like see the age difference anymore. But like when I, like, I mean, I would be lying if I said that like when they first got together, I thought it was a little strange, but
Yeah.
I never was like, ew. It was just, oh, that's interesting. Little skeptical, because I mean, like, the society is bred to think that it's not normal, but like, man, like, live your life. Like, if you find someone that is much older, much younger than you, as long as it's like you said, like, they have life experience, be mature enough to handle it, then like, whatever.
Yeah.
You do you, boo.
This next questions are going to be quite fun, because you have very strong opinions on both of these.
Me?
Yes.
Oh boy.
It's something we've talked about. Is it okay to have a relationship with someone who is married or is in a relationship with someone else? Yes, this is one of the questions. The next one after that is even better. Is it okay? I'll answer this. No.
Wait. Are we talking about someone who is openly polyamorous, or are we talking about they are having a relationship with someone and the
I'll tell
other
you what,
person doesn't know?
I'll combine the two questions if you want to, because the one after that, is it okay to have an open relationship? That's how I feel about those questions.
Gathering my thoughts.
Okay, well, interrupt me when you feel the need to. Is it okay? I'll start with the first question. Is it okay to have a relationship with someone who is married? If you're polyamorous in both situations, first of all, ew. Second of all, no, it's not okay. Because you should be getting your love from the person you married. You chose that person as your forever person. So this person is supposed to be your peace. This person is supposed to be the person you come home to and confide in. And you're not doing that. You're confiding in someone else. You're giving that someone else you're giving them your time. You're giving them your peace. You're giving them a part of you. You're taking away from the person that you married and that you picked. You picked. You said yes. You knew what you were getting into. You are robbing them of a true relationship. You're robbing them of the opportunity of peace, confinement, love, nourishment, because you're giving part of you to someone else when you should be giving all of yourself to the person that you chose to marry.
Mm-hmm.
No, it is not okay. And even if, okay, I'll go ahead and jump into polyamorous. No, it's not fucking okay. You're using polyamorous to be a fucking whore, men or women. Ooh. When I say that, if you're with someone that does not satisfy you, or complete you, or bring you peace, move the fuck on. If that person does bring you that stuff that I just listed, but yet you want more, then you're the fucking problem.
Mm-hmm.
That person that does provide you the things that you need, but yet you want more, they should dump your ass. They should not be okay with it. And nobody should ever be okay with that lifestyle. It's a whore lifestyle. Nobody is going to take anything from me. Nobody's going to take... I'm not going to share my fucking food with no one. I'm not going to share my house with some stranger. I'm not going to share my money with some stranger. I'm not going to share my car with some stranger. And I'm damn sure not sharing my fucking wife with someone. If you wouldn't open your house to a complete stranger, I wouldn't let a fucking stranger come in my fucking wife.
Woo.
It's fucking disgusting, and I don't approve of it. Is it okay? Never. Never is the answer. That's just my 2 cents.
You're turning me on with how passionate you're getting, babe.
I feel very strongly about this, if you can't tell.
You're making me feel some type of way.
You're silly. I'm sorry, but I mean this in the best way. You're mine, and you're my property, and nobody comes on my fucking yard without my fucking permission. And guess what? No man is coming on my fucking yard. Because it is my yard. It's my responsibility. It's my safe haven. It's my fucking peace. And no, you can't have any goddamn part of it.
You know, I feel like people listening will be like, oh my God, he just called her his property. You know what? I am his and he is mine. We are each other's. And we choose that for each other.
Right. When I say she's mine, she's mine. She's not my property. She's her own person. She can do whatever she wants. I don't stop her from doing anything. But I'm going to take care of her just like I do my property. I make sure my grass is cut, make sure that my roof's good, make sure that my doors work, I make sure that my house is in good condition and is taken care of.
And when our water sprayer gets stuck, we replace the faucet.
Exactly. But I make sure things are taken care of with my property. I love my property. I make sure that there's no needs, and if something's broken, I fix it. That's the misconception with property.
Mm-hmm.
I don't own you. That's the difference.
you give me the freedom to be who I need and who I want to be and do what I want to do, but you also like have the trust in me as a person that I'm not going to dishonor that.
Right. Because I don't own you. That's the difference.
Mm-hmm.
You're mine, but I don't own you.
Yeah.
That's the difference that people get conflicted with when someone says, "Oh, she's mine. She's my property. You can't have her." Because that means you love that person, you take care of that person, you look out for the best in that person. Now, if you say, I own her, then we got a fucking problem. Yeah. You don't own fucking nobody. I don't have no rights over you.
Mm-hmm.
I don't tell you what to do. I don't tell you what to eat. I don't tell you what to wear, what you can't wear, what you can have and what you can't have. I never have. I never fucking will. Because I don't have that fucking right. And it goes vice versa, ladies and gentlemen.
No, you just empower me and encourage me to be the best version of me.
Exactly. Just like my property, I want it to look the best and be its best at all times. And the same with you. I want you to be 100% at all times. And if there's something wrong, I want to fix it, make it better. That's the thing with property. You can always make it better. Mm-hmm. And it's yours. And that's the great part about
baby. It. And you're mine.
Exactly.
You're my man.
So, what's your opinion on open relationships and marriage?
I mean, we've been really open and honest about this from the beginning of our relationship. Like, so a couple episodes ago, we went through some of those like random card questions. Well, we have a whole pack of them, and we one night sat in your car driving around, just answering relationship questions, like getting to know each other better and where we stand on things. And one of them was about open relationships. And the thing is, like, I have had several friends, like people that are close to me, try to pursue open relationships, and never once has it worked out. Never once. It's ended very, very, very badly.
Surprise.
Right. And I do have someone that I care about like so much. It's one of the most important people in my life right now that is in, I guess you would call it a polyamorous relationship. And it's currently thriving. And like, I want the best for my friends, and I never want to be the person to judge them. But if I like think about like, I just don't, I think it would be very, very difficult to ever make that work long term. I'm not saying for like that specific friend. I'm just saying in general, because I you know, if they listen to this, I really don't want them to think that I am feeling some type of way about their life and their decisions, because I'm not. I love and support my friends, but I also just like, I don't want to share my person. Like, I feel like you and I both have so much love to give, and I want to pour all of my love into you. And I don't want to share it with other people. I don't want to give other people my time and my affection and my attention. I want that all to be for you, and just like I want all of your love and affection and time to be spent on me.
Same.
I just feel like that's what a healthy relationship should be. And I'm just like, I do have strong opinions about this, but I also like, it's literally like this one very close friend of mine that I just don't want her to think that I am judging her by any means, because I'm not. People can live the lives that they want and make the decisions that they want for them. And if it works for you, then like, by all means do that.
It doesn't.
I just know
I'll say it for you. It doesn't.
I just know for me it wouldn't.
If you're listening to this, I'm gonna be real. It never works. I've never seen a success story. I think they even had a fucking show about it, and by the end of it, it was in shambles. I can't remember the show. But it never works.
I do, though, want to look at it from the perspective of, is it okay to be in a relationship with someone who's married or in a relationship if it is not a consenting polyamorous or open relationship, and you are dating someone or fucking someone who you know is in a relationship or married to somebody else, how fucking dare you? How dare you? Women are all about right now women supporting women, and we've got to have each other's back and all this stuff, but then they're going and fucking someone's husband. You are a despicable, disgusting human being. I just cannot, like, I should probably stop talking about it because I get so heated about it, because I've been in a relationship where I've been the woman who got cheated on, and I know how it feels, and I would never do that to somebody else. Like, and if you are the person in a relationship or married and you feel the need to cheat, you fucking leave before you break that person. Like, do you realize the damage that you're causing your partner when they find out? Because they will find out. They'll find out. You can hide it as well as you want to, and it may be years down the road before they find out, but they will find out. How dare you break that person like that when you could have just made the decision to fucking leave? If you're that miserable and you need to stick your dick inside of someone else, or stick your vagina on someone else's dick, then you just fucking move on.
Agreed.
Rawr.
Anything else?
No, I think I'm done.
Okay. Is it okay to have a relationship with someone who has children with from a previous relationship? Is it okay? Yes. Are you going to have issues? Possibly.
I think it's okay. I think it is totally okay. I am from one of those families. And I think, I have a lot of friends that have children and are in the dating scene, and I know, like, the worry and the fear that they have about, like, someone. I think it is a huge responsibility, and there's a weightiness to it in your decision to date someone who has kids. It's hard for me to speak on this because I don't have children, so, like, I don't have, like, that real life experience, and I like to talk from real life experience, but I can share from, like, my friend's perspective of, like, okay, you are falling for a man or a woman who has children. Your ultimate responsibility is to make sure that the children are safe and protect their hearts. So I think, like, it's really important to make sure that that is a very serious relationship before there's introduction to the children. But I also know, like, there are men out there and women out there that would love and support your child like they're their own. And I don't want anyone to feel like no one's going to love me because I have this baggage of, like, children from a different relationship. And obviously there are a lot of relationships where that could cause some drama and some just, I don't know, drama is, like, the best word for that. But there's also some, like my best friend, her and her ex co-parent very, very well, and they have a great relationship, and they make it a priority to keep their child safe and, like, make sure that they know that they're loved and supported no matter what. And I think is, like, they're a picture-perfect example of how it can work. But I think that's the thing is, like, a lot of relationships that fail, that when there's kids involved, is, like, they take out their anger with each other and show it in front of their kids, and, like, that's not okay. But yeah, no, I think it is entirely possible and totally Like, there's nothing wrong with dating someone who has children. You just have to realize that if you're choosing that person, you are also choosing their children.
Yes.
If you are not interested in being somebody's step-parent or bonus parent or whatever you want to call it, then you do not pursue a relationship with someone who has children.
Exactly. You need to be aware that the person you're dating, you need to be aware of their past, and you need to be aware of how they are on terms of level of co-parenting. Mm-hmm. Like, are you getting into a shit show? And if so, you're choosing that if you know. And you're going, and it's probably not going to work out for you, honestly. I mean, just be real. If there's no good co-parenting, that's where most of your problems come in. Is not with the children really, but the dealing with the ex in a situation like that.
Yeah.
Let's see. Is it okay to date someone that has a different political point of view than you?
I mean, if your partner is a reasonable human being who understands that it's okay if someone doesn't believe this like have the same political view as you, then yeah. But I feel like so many people, again, just find their identity in stupid shit and are so passionate about their beliefs, whether it's religious or political, that it could cause a lot of drama.
Yeah, I've had a girl tell me I was too conservative. That's why she couldn't date me.
That you were too conservative?
Yep. I was like, wow.
I mean, okay.
I was like, all right, cool, whatever.
That wasn't your person.
No.
Because your person's sitting right here, babe.
Exactly. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, but yeah, I mean, I do think it's possible. I think that's like kind of a case-by-case basis. I think for the most part, it would be really difficult, but if it's two very mature people who like are totally willing, like totally accept each other for the fact that they don't believe the same thing and they can have like civil conversations about it and it doesn't cause conflict, then like, sure. But I think would be rare for that to not cause conflict in the relationship.
Right. Is it going to work out? Probably not. I mean, honestly, first of all, I don't even know. Well, I was going to say, why are you dating each other? But sometimes, people meet and then they start talking about politics, and that's pretty much where shit goes sideways, religion and politics.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's crazy how, like, a lot of people don't talk about stuff like that until they're, like, they're so far in the relationship that they're really crazy about this person, and then they find out the things that make them incompatible. That's one of the things, like, that was important to me when you and I were talking. Like, we talked about deep shit from, like, the get-go. Like, we were very, like, we didn't really stay surface level very long at all. Like, we went deep, and we went deep quick.
Right.
That's what she said.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, because, I mean, at our ages, like, you get to a certain age where, like, you just realize you don't want to waste your time with someone who ultimately is just not going to be compatible with you, or compatible for each other. So, like, you need to talk about those things, like, early on and work out all those kinks.
Right. Exactly. Get the shit show out of the way.
Yeah.
Find out if you're compatible or not. All right. Can romance die out of a relationship?
If you choose for it to.
How do you fix it? So, explain how you choose for it to.
So, I mean, I think it kind of goes hand in hand with intimacy, where I feel like those things don't die unless you let them. I mean, I think, you can kind of fall into a rut of like not being romantic and intimate with each other. But when you recognize that, like, oh, hey, like we're kind of slacking in this department. I love this person. I want them to feel like so deeply loved and cherished and cared for, and just do little things to like flip that script back around. Like, right. I mean, just for instance, like last night, like I knew that you had a really hard day at work, and I just wanted you to come home and just feel so loved and seen and like valued. So I cooked us dinner. I put candles out on the porch, lit a fire, had music playing, and I put like petals down on the ground. Just because I'm a cheese ball. I can't help it.
I still love you.
Well, I sure hope so. Mm-hmm. But like, I mean, I know a lot of relationships that are as far along as we are, and they don't do things like that for each other, and that hurts my heart for them. Because like we talked about this the other day with like the honeymoon phase. I don't think that I think that that's something that should continue in your relationship if you choose it. Yeah, so I just feel like choosing to love your person well and do little things for them and make them feel seen, supported, cherished, valued, and loved, like, it's a choice.
I think that the romance dies when you get complacent. Mm-hmm. And you expect certain things out of the person that you've chosen to be with. I've told you this quote before, but Alice Cooper answered one time, like, how has his marriage lasted so long? And he said, I've never stopped dating my wife.
Yeah. And I still, like, that just makes me smile.
And I think that that's a very good idea to have. I think that you should never quit dating your wife.
Yeah.
Why? Why do you have to stop? Even if you have kids, why? Why do you have to stop dating your wife?
Yeah. Because if you think about it, like in the beginning stages of a relationship, like you're going all in and doing all that you can for this person to make them feel special, and then you fall in love. And then so many people do, like, they just get so complacent and stop doing the special things for each other. But if you think about it, like, now that person isn't just someone you're dating, it's someone that you love and you see a future with. Why wouldn't you want to continue to make them feel special and loved and wanted? Like, I feel like if anything, you should want that even more for them because you have love for them. And
right. I mean, what's wrong with stopping at Walmart or somewhere and just picking up a card and some flowers?
Yeah.
Takes you like 7 minutes out of your day. And it's like, I don't know, $20 out of your pocket. And if you're one of these people that eat out all the time, or, $20, don't eat out, fat ass, one day. I mean, if you're really worried about money like that, I mean, what is it gonna, mean to that person? It's gonna mean everything to that person. Yeah. I mean,
it's you probably, things.
Yeah, and if that person is not satisfied with little things you do for them, and they're only focused on like bigger things, then you've got a problem. Mm-hmm. Then you probably goes a little bit deeper. I mean, it's probably you're with either a gold digger or something like that. Mm-hmm. But well, I was talking about something the other day. You just brought up and wanted to touch on. What was it? We was just talking about it now.
Like, what did I just say?
Yeah.
I was saying that, you do all these special things for them in the beginning of the relationship, in the dating phase, and then once you've got them and you've fallen in love, why wouldn't you want, almost even more so, to keep making them feel special and loved and wanted? If anything, you should want it more.
I've lost. I fucking lost it. Damn it. Anyway, is there any questions you have or anything you wanted to touch on?
I'm trying to think of how to word it. It was something that I was listening to. It kind of like falls into a lot of the questions we were just talking about.
Okay. Just talk about it.
So it was like issues in a relationship, and the person was like, it was talking about phones, and I don't know how to make it like a question for you to answer.
Well, just bring it up and I'll talk about it.
Okay. So like, if you have something on your phone that you have to, you feel like you have to delete before your partner could possibly see it, to me, that's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Just like, you know, you and I decided to delete Snapchat, not because we don't trust each other, but because like we don't want there to like like both of you have had shit happen to us in the past. And we don't want like anything to cause the other person to like even question for a second, or to give anyone else the impression, because I mean it has a certain like reputation or like stigma behind it of like it's used for shady shit. And if you're a single person, like cool, like by all means, but I don't want anyone to have access to me in that way of like trying to have like a private conversation with me like that. Like I'm open and upfront with you about everything. And I just feel like if you have the need to use something like Snapchat that deletes your messages right away, or if you have to go through your phone and delete things before your partner can see it, then like that's an issue.
Yeah, that's a major problem. So I mean, as far as Snapchat goes, honestly, I didn't got to the point where the only reason why I was using it is because we had a group conversation, like the Dodd Club conversation. But I mean, now that's why you hear the text messages go off like crazy.
Well, that's the thing, like the podcast I was listening to was talking about when it comes to Snapchat specifically, is like, okay, what are some of the excuses people use? Well, I talk to my friends on there.
Right.
You can't talk to your friends through text message or through Messenger or like literally any other form of communication that's not private.
Right.
You can, and then like one of the ones that I actually used to use was I used it for the filters. And then like literally today I was using Instagram stories because Instagram stories has filters. Like you don't have to do it on, it doesn't have to be on Snapchat. You can take a picture on your phone and edit it yourself. Like there's like all of these like excuses people want to use when really they just want to be able to use it to have private conversations.
Why do you think somebody would want to do that?
Do what?
Have private conversations. Are you saying like have private conversations while they're in a relationship?
Right.
Why do you think that they would want to do that?
Because they want to have conversations with somebody that it's something that would be inappropriate or would hurt their partner if they saw it.
What would be the difference if that person was using? Are you saying like that's like your number one thing, like of why you don't like Snapchat? I'm just asking questions. Because I mean, we all pretty much know that what Snapchat's used for.
Right.
It's to cover your tracks.
Right. And if you're in a relationship, then why do you need that?
You should.
Right.
Honestly.
And I did, like, when I was using Snapchat, like, I used it to talk to you and to literally talk to my friends. Like, like, once you and I were in a committed relationship, there was no other reason for me to use it except for to talk to you and my friends. And, like, it's interesting because there are some of my friends that I talk to a lot more on Snapchat, but it was never, like, meaningful conversation. It was, like, a picture of a Starbucks drink or, like, stupid shit at work or, like, things like that.
Right.
But I got to the point where I was like, if this is important enough to me to send to them, I can send this through a text or I can send this through Messenger or whatever thing of communication that I need to use. It doesn't need to be through Snapchat.
Why do you think Snapchat has become like the go-to thing for communication?
Because I think people want to know that, like the thing where like, well, I've got the receipts, because people can take screenshots. I mean, they can take screenshots of Snapchat, but it alerts the other person.
Right.
People take screenshots of your text message thread, and you'll never know.
Right.
But on Snapchat, it disappears. You can either do it where it disappears immediately, or it
24 hours.
24 hours. So it's like you said, covering their tracks. They don't want to get caught saying something that they know their partner, it would hurt them.
Yeah. God, I almost had that fucking conversation thing I wanted to talk about. Yeah, I mean, Snapchat is pretty pointless. I mean,
we're in our 30s. Like, honestly, at this point, like, grow up.
I mean, I can say grow up, but then yet again, we use TikTok, so.
That's different.
It is different. That's being goofy and silly and enjoying yourself. That's not being a whore.
Exactly.
Damn it, I really want to talk about this. Is there anything else you had that came up?
I mean, there are ways of doing sneaky shit on other apps too. And I just feel like if you are in a committed relationship and you feel the need to do that, then like you need to reevaluate. Do you really love that person and respect and love them, or are you wanting to fuck around? Mm-hmm. And if you're wanting to fuck around, then you need to stop hurting that person and move on. Stop putting them through that. That's all I have to say about that, I think.
Agreed. Trying to think. I can't remember. It's gonna come to me when we get upstairs. Mm-hmm. Oh well. Well, I think it's been a pretty good episode.
Yeah. Wait, I don't want to end it on that. I feel like I was just like.
Okay. Well, how do you want to end it?
Gosh, I don't know. Like, I'm trying to think of something that we haven't talked about that's more like sweet or fun. Oh, I will talk about. So one of the things that we did, was it for our anniversary where we did the popsicle thing?
Yes.
Okay. So if you're having trouble coming up with like date ideas on the fly or whatever, James and I did this thing where we took popsicle sticks and went through the alphabet. We actually need to finish that. We haven't finished it yet. But so we started obviously with A and just came up with as many like date night ideas as we could that started with that letter. And we have created so many ideas and we're not even all the way through the alphabet. And I think that's like a really like unique, like fun thing to do with your partner. It's fun to like dream about all the things that you could do. And then if you're ever like, I want to go on a date, but what do you want to do? You can just pull one of the popsicle sticks.
Yeah, it's a pretty neat idea, which I think some of them we have to edit because we have like, I think we put some restaurants down. Mm-hmm. And I don't think they're on the criteria anymore.
Oh, because of our lifestyle change.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll have to go back and look at that.
Yeah, that's a pretty fun way to spice up the night. Or just one person picks out something to do one night, and then the next person, picks out something to do the next night.
Take turns planning the date.
Take turns.
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with that.
And men deserve, I'm talking to the women, men deserve to have date nights planned out for them too. We just talked about that last night. Like, men deserve to have that effort put into them too. So surprise your man and do something sweet for them. Like, you never know, like, when it's, how much they might need it in that moment.
It's true. And men, don't think that working your 9 to 5 is enough. Make sure to take some time out and show your life partner, significant other, wife, husband. I mean, men can be married to men.
Yeah.
Make sure to show them you love them.
Yep.
Plan a date night. You don't have to be, if you're not creative enough. Hell, take them to their favorite restaurant. Take them to a movie. Dinner and a movie. You can't go wrong. It's a classic.
It's a classic. Also, there's this wonderful thing called Pinterest and TikTok where you can get all kinds of date ideas if you're struggling.
Yeah, well, some guys are...
Ooh, let's take it a step further. Your partner has Pinterest. Go look at their boards. I bet you they got ideas on there.
See, I have no idea. I'm not into Pinterest like that, so...
It's very easy to figure out. It takes a little bit of effort.
Google it. Just Google fun dates. And go from there.
Yeah.
Not that hard. Like I said, can't go wrong with the classic. It's the reason why classics don't go out of style. Mm-hmm. Well, it's been real. It's been fun. I've actually had fun with this episode.
Me too. That was a great idea, babe.
Yeah. Well, thank you for listening to Perseverance to Prevail podcast. I'm James.
I'm Leanna.
Be good. Be safe. Be the best version of you.